flipping phone. What's going on with it? Right, I've got a bit of a confession to make. A few days ago, I was doing some work on my oscilloscope, and I found what appeared to be a fault on a high voltage diode. So rather than subjecting it to heat, because it's 48 years old, this oscilloscope, including the diode. So I thought, well, I'll just use some conductive paint, you know, just to make a good connection between my clips and LED in 10 volts to test the diodes, because the high voltage diodes, you can't test them on a meter, because the voltage drop is so big. Anyway, I thought I saw a short when I put all meter probes on it. I thought, I need to put some clips on there properly so I can get a good connection. So I put some conductive paint on the connections on the wires to each end of this diode, connected it to my breadboard, put an LED on, and it appeared to be short circuit. So I thought, I found it. I found the fault. Yay, I found it, yeah. Well, I hadn't, because the conductive paint had gone underneath the diode and created a short circuit. All I was detecting before was a capacitor charging up. So I was back to the drawing board. I'd ordered new diodes as well. I ordered new parts. Anyway, to cut a long story short, today I scratching my head, thinking, what the hell is wrong with this thing? I tested all the transistors on it again, on the board, because I thought it must be an intermittent fault, because these intermittent faults can play tricks on you. You can test okay, and then next minute they don't. So I tested all the transistors again, and then I found it accidentally when I was poking the back of the board. It went off again, and I poked it again, and it came back. I'm finally finding out where the problem is. Anyway, I'll put the scope back together, so I can't show you now, but basically, I'll look at this sheet. Right, this is looking at the printed circuit board side. Now, there's a little choke right down here, at 66C, down in this little bottom corner. There's a little choke down here, and there's a screw that mounts the ground to the chassis. Now, I noticed that it was grounded in other places. Now, it's possible there's a circuit trap that's broken somewhere, but anyway, the ground connection was all corroded. It was all rusty. So I thought, well, that must be it. Bad earth. All that and a bad earth. So anyway, I put some more conductive paint on the corroded joint, because I can't solder the steel. So I used some conductive paint between the tab and ground, just as a temporary fix, to see if the fault returns. As long as I don't bang it and knock it around, it should be fine. Anyway, if the fault doesn't return, I'll know it was a bad earth, and then I can go and put a new earth strap between the circuit board and the chassis, which is probably what I should do anyway. But anyway, I've got new parts coming. I've got the high voltage diode coming, which I'm probably going to fit later on during the week. So I'm going to wait until those parts come, and then by the time they arrive, I should be able to confirm whether or not that temporary fix has worked or not. And if not, then it's back to the drawing board. If it has solved the problem, then I know for the fact that the connection problem is in this area of the board, just round the back of the transformer. It's not the transformer itself, it's one of the connections on the board, because when I pushed the board, it kept coming back and going off, coming back and going off when I was pushing on the circuit board. I'm just showing you on the printed thing on this printout right now. But anyway, also I noticed that when I was trimming, when I went through the calibration process also, and I set up the entire oscilloscope. When I was trimming on R74 to set up I went through the full setup procedure for calibration. when I was trimming this pot, when I was pressing down on the other side of the board, that's when it kept cutting out on me. So what the hell? Well, I looked at that. It's a lot of leverage at the top end of the board. There's more leverage. You know, you can actually bend the bottom more when you're pushing at the top. So that also points to a bad earth at the bottom. So anyway, it's working right now. So we'll just have to see what happens, won't we, when I get these other components. I mean, God, this oscilloscope has been such a pain. It really has. It's been driving me up the wall. I've got it all fully calibrated, but it's tired. It's very tired for something that's 48 years old. I had a hard time calibrating it. I'm currently feeding a 50 kilohertz frequency in, and the auto trigger isn't very good. I have to manually tune the knob at the bottom to get it just right, but it works on certain frequencies. The auto trigger works great on certain frequencies, but on some frequencies it's not so good. I'm sure there's a few more tired polystyrene capacitors in there, but it's not bad once I get it set up right. It just twitch a lot. That's the problem with it. It's not very stable. It's very, very erratic, but well, it's there if I need it, I suppose. Yeah. So anyway, I'm on TV setting at the moment down here. You can't really see. Where's my torch gone? See if I can get my light on this a bit more. Oh, it keeps hitting my mouse. Right, that's better. Right, I've got it on the, it's on AC right now. Let's put it on TV setting. We should get a better lock on there. When my light's on it, you can't see it very well. No, it's actually better on the TV setting. No, AC setting, sorry. Yeah, it's fiddly to get it set just right. I've changed all the electrolytics. I have a suspicion that there's something else wrong somewhere, like a weak polystyrene or something, but I calibrated it as best I could, and I've spent ages and ages, and this is when I kick myself. I've spent nearly all day twiddling about calibrating this thing, and when I'd finished I looked at my trimmers and they were all exactly where I started off from. Because I'd marked them, you see, with a little pen mark, well, some nail varnish. I'd put a little blob of nail varnish across where the trimmer is so you could see where it was, so I wouldn't mess things up. Well, after I'd finished calibrating it, I went and had a look, and they were all back where I started. I thought, oh, this is ridiculous. Yeah, so don't you hate it when you do that? You spend all day doing something, and then you're basically winning on the spot. Right, that's not bad. Let's generate a different frequency. I've got this in my homemade frequency generator. I've made this, oh God, when did I make this? 1995 I made it. I put some transfers on there when I did it. It generates RF, low, medium, high. It generates RF. Most of the switches aren't even connected up to anything except for the amplifier. That meter isn't even connected to anything. It's going to be to measure RF really. And that's what my business used to be called, Clarity. I think it's a generator. So, and this is my audio frequencies. I've got input for the various inputs I can modulate and stuff. And I've got square, sine, triangle. That's my audio frequency adjust. I never took the sticky paper off these knobs, you know. That's the audio frequency level. That's the range, low, medium, high, and super high. And that's the RF level. That knob there is that's connected to this section here. So anyway, yeah, I've been using this to generate the frequency for my oscilloscope at the moment, and does the job. Let's knock it down a notch. Let's go down to medium. Right, let's have a look at medium. See if I can get this locked on. There we go. We've got a lock. We've got a lock on medium, quite good. Let's try it. Oh, we're on auto. That's manual. I'm manual now. It's very hard to get it. Oh, there we go. I've got a lock on that setting. I prefer auto on here though. It's actually quite good. Once it works, once the auto works, it works. But it doesn't work on all frequencies too well. So that's going. Not a lot of noise. There's a bit of noise from my signal generator because I've got RF in there as well. So there's basically two oscillators. There's actually two oscillators running in this signal generator. So one oscillator does tend to interfere with the other one a bit. Sorry about it being dark. My light's not turned on, as you can see. So when you got this spotlight on here. I've got a lighter over there, but you can't really see it. Anyway, let's try a different frequency. Let me just go over to a lower one. I'm just using presets. I'm not twiddling the knobs because I want to keep the. I don't want to lose my 50 kilohertz preset. Right, let's just set this up a bit if I can. I need to go a bit lower on time base. I really need to be back on manual again. I'll go a bit lower on the time base. Oops, I've got the. Let's reset that to 0. Right. Well. Yeah, it's not doing so well on the low frequencies. It's not locking. Yeah, there's more work to do on it yet anyway. But it'll have to do for now. I just want to make sure I fix that main fault because I've got some more components coming anyway. So I've got another capacitor to put in. I'm just going to take my time with this sorting this out because it's just a mundane job. It's a mundane thing. Yeah, I can't seem to get a very good lock on this lower frequency. I could move the frequency on my signal generator, but that's cheating. The whole point is this should lock no matter what frequency you're at, and it's not. Oh well, it's locking there, but I've got multiples. Oh, let's try TB actually. Setting. That's worse. Seems to be about AC saying. Yeah. Okay, anyway, thanks for watching.